When I talk to parents, especially how to talk to their children regarding sexuality, one aspect of it is you have to remain calm.
Mm-hmm.
You have to remain calm because it's not something new to you either.
Okay.
It's only that your time, sometimes we look at our kids and we are like, did I go through this phase?
Yes.
It's because you didn't have time to process your face. They really have a lot of time to process their faces. So you find that, you're looking at them and you're like, this one is like I skipped. You didn't skip. You just didn't have time to process it.
And maybe the process was a bit different because of the time and everything else, but we go through the same thing.
Pearl Radio, the home of fresh and classic hits.
It was Sarah Kibazo. My friends called me SK. I'm a life coach and I'm a psychotherapist as well as a counselor. I have a program where I do consultation on sexuality parenting. On this program, we train parents on how to talk to their kids regarding their sexuality from a young age. And I also do teens and youth mentorship. Apart from that, I also do business training. I recently graduated from a business school, and from there I got certified to be a trainer, to train individuals to rise up from poverty to prosperity, to be self-reliant, to be able to do their startups and open up and maybe progress in their businesses. So basically that's what I am, but today I'm here as a sexuality consultant, parenting. And so let's talk. You
are doing a lot, which is actually very beautiful.
I know.
So you say that you talk about you handle matters to touch on sexuality, and this also involves kids. And do you have a specific age that you target for the kids?
Okay, so when it comes to sexuality parenting, that's when we train parents for children of all ages, because we believe that as early as your child can say, "This is my eye," they should be able to know their body. They should be able to be oriented according to their sexuality, because as we know, abuse takes place as early in life. And so when a child is empowered, when a child is informed, they're actually empowered. So that's when we deal with all ages. And then we have our teens mentorship. That one we do for mentorship for young, for teenagers and preteens, preteens from 9 years. So we usually have our online programs for 9 up to 18 years. We usually have online programs every holiday. We just concluded two for preteens and teens last week. And then every holiday, that is in April and August. And then in November, we have a physical camp that we normally have for preteens and teens.
Okay.
So we call it Worth the Wait. So we tell the young people they have to wait.
They have to wait.
Yes.
How to handle your child's first crush.
Yeah.
And when I say that, it means that children actually have crushes. I want you to start by just telling us what is a childhood crush, for us to understand, because many of us, me being one of the many people who are shocked that children actually have crushes as early as 4 years old. So I don't know, Ebony, what are these? What is this? What is a childhood crush?
Well, when we talk about these childhood crushes, we're not talking about a romantic kind of a feeling, as much as it looks like so or it sounds like so, because at this time, these children don't really know that romantic aspect of it.
Yes.
All they know, those days when you just you look at someone and then your heart skip a bit, and it's not like anything to do with them. You just have a fond loving towards them, or a fond liking. You just like them, you're just fond of them somehow. It's just something like that. And it's not like it's not the adult kind of a thing. It's just a childish, we can't call it childish because it's also a special feeling for them at that time. Just as you'd have a romantic feeling for an adult, it's also special for them, only that this one is not as romantic per se. It's just like a fond feeling.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's just innocent.
It's very innocent. And sometimes you would find that this child, they'll just feel like so and so is special to me, and then it happens to be the opposite sex, which for now for now, in this generation we are in, you're like, hooray, it's opposite.
Oh, bless the Lord, because yes, this generation, so much is coming up compared to our generation.
Definitely.
Because right now, if it's a boy, thank God.
Yeah.
The opposite gender, okay.
Yeah, you're okay. You're like, thank God it's, because right now, I think every parent, especially parenting a teenage right now, you're just holding your breath, like, whom is she or he chatting with, or walking with, or liking? Because at the end of the day, there's just so much. And then again, with how things have changed, technology and exposure, and our children are getting exposed. Like I was telling a friend of mine, right now the first toy our children are getting are phones.
Yes.
So you can imagine what the children are exposed to as early as 3, 4, 5 years. So we can't leave this conversation. We have to have it at our, like, as a breastplate of righteousness for us.
Yes.
Like we have to uphold it with so much weight. Because it affects our children as early as those ages you don't imagine.
When I'm telling you as early as 4 years old is because I was once told, actually very recently, of a young boy who's very much in love with a 4-year-old girl as well, and they're actually planning to get married. They're actually engaged. Oh, the mom is all.
Yeah, can you imagine where did they even get the wordings like I'm in love? Where did they get the thing like I'm engaged? Because I'm not imagining their parents would be sitting down and conversing about their, I'm being in love, or definitely.
And planning to get married.
Definitely, it's the phones, it's the technology that they're being exposed, the things that they're watching, they're being exposed to. So these are things we have to really expect with today's children. And
as a parent who was a 4-year-old, a 3-year-old, and they've already started this conversation, you don't need to panic, so you just sit down and have this conversation, yeah?
Yeah, definitely. I think we'll talk about that maybe later on, but the thing is, when I talk to parents, especially how to talk to their children regarding sexuality, one aspect of it is you have to remain calm. You have to remain calm because it's not something new to you either.
Okay.
It's only that your time, sometimes we look at our kids and we are like, did I go through this phase?
Yes.
It's because you didn't have time to process your face. They really have a lot of time to process their faces. So you find that, you're looking at them and you're like, this one is like I skipped. You didn't skip. You just didn't have time to process it.
And maybe the process was a bit different because of the time and everything else, but we go through the same thing. When does a child's first crush happen?
Well, just as you said you've heard of a 4 years old.
Yeah, I was
5
shocked.
years old. But generally speaking, puberty actually should start at the age of, average age is 10 to 13. It should start there, whereabouts. But it can also come earlier. 8, 9, it can also come earlier, and this is due to the pituitary gland that we all have at the base of our brains that stimulates, it stimulates the hormones that make us grow. I'm trying to use words that are kids based.
Yes, I'm looking at you and I'm like,
Yeah, so the hormones, we have some hormones in our body, some chemicals in our body that react due to the trigger from that part of our brain. And so that part of our brain is what is what do we call it? It's responsible for our growth. For our growth and development, all of us as humans, being boys, being girls, and it is what causes the body changes that comes during puberty. That said and done, puberty does not begin physically, it begins emotionally. So I'm trying to go back a little bit. So it first begins emotionally, which I said it can begin earlier, 8, 9. But again, there's an aspect of differences. There are people who, due to either where you come from, like they are Asians, they are either us Africans, then they are either maybe white people. our development can be different age-wise, and also it can also be genetical. So that's why you can find a 4-year-old somewhere who is very sharp, and then there's another one who is tukotu, and then you can also find at 10 there's a kid who has no idea what's going on with life, me nikotu, and then there is one who is exploring the world, so depending on your genetics, depending also with the environment, depending also with the exposure. Now we're talking about technology and all that, so that kids were also exposed. So because of all that, you find that our growth levels are very different, and so at that time or at that point you find people having crushes at different ages, and so we would bring it back to the hormones, but at the same time we can still bring it back to our environment, our genetics, our exposures. Yes.
How as a parent or a guardian you'll be able to spot a childhood crush? Yeah,
well, all right. Well, we have a training where we normally train parents on how to talk to their kids regarding sexuality, and we say that these talks have to be early. You have to begin them so early. Why? Because when you begin them early, you're actually trying to tell your kid that your sexuality is actually my responsibility. That's what you're telling your kid. And so when they have these crushes, they would actually be easy to tell you, because now you've built a bond with them. You've made them know that this is not their sexuality is not an embarrassment to you. It's actually part of you. So they'll come and tell you. That is one.
Yes.
But again, we always say that they might not tell you.
Yes.
And in many cases they don't. And when they don't, they just have not. That's it. So
will they be telling someone else?
Yeah, probably they might. And that is why we say now these conversations, you have to initiate them. You can't wait for them to talk to you about them. You have to initiate them. So you will find at some point, maybe they can start acting out like, they just, you're packing for them snack, and then they're like, can you pack for me extra for so-and-so? And so this so-and-so is becoming now too common. Maybe you can spot with that. And as I said, these conversations are, most of the time you have to initiate them, because if you wait for them to ask, they might not.
Yes.
And when they don't, I have said, they just have not. So it's not their fault that they have not, and it's not your fault that they have not. And again, they can start acting out. Another thing they can do is they can start what do you call it? I'm trying to use a simpler word. They remove you out of the picture, like you are not their main character anymore. If you used to be like is your your mommy all the time, now you find the mommy thing or daddy thing is going down.
Yes.
It's going down. So at that time, or maybe they're holding back a lot. They'll start giving you a conversation, then like, let's leave it. They're holding back a lot because there's another main character who has come into this cast. So you're not in this story. So you're not the main character in this story anymore. Yes. So that is also one way of spotting it. Another way is that they will be very calm. They can start becoming very calm if they are so talkative. They start getting calm, and then you realize they're not talking so much as they used to.
Well, is this in the presence of the crush, or
even at that time, hormones have started acting, and we say now this is between maybe 8 going up. So hormones have started actually behaving. So if at that time it is the hormones, but now if they're younger, remember if you're told you began these conversations earlier with them, they'll start telling you stuff. And if at all you're open with them, they start telling you stuff, and they will tell you, and they will start acting, and they will start. There are others who, I don't know, it's normally coincidental or what, but you'll just find them with notes. You will find those notes. Yeah. Somehow you'd spot the notes. Somehow you just spot the notes. I was just going through a friend of mine. We were just having a conversation, and then she's like, I found this note in my girl's this, bag. And I'm like, the note was not even bad. It was just saying, it was just asking her. I think she had visited another neighborhood and she saw a boy they used to school with in another school. And so she wrote a note and gave the host, the girl who was the host who hosted her, to give it to the boy. And so the note was like at him, do you remember me? We used to, and they are very young. They're 7-ish.
Oh wow.
They're 7-ish, 6, know. And so with that kind, you can already sense that this kid is going through a process. And so your responsibility at that time is not to be harsh or all that. It's just to be very supportive and to be able to talk through with them. Because as I've said, they might not ask.
Yes.
And so if they don't ask, you have to learn how to initiate that conversation.
And when you initiate, when you're trying to talk to them and they don't open up, then do you just let it go? What do you do at that point?
Yeah. I think we will also touch on it later. But it is important for you, if you find that they're not talking, just back off.
Let it be.
Yeah, just back off.
Okay.
Give it 2 weeks, give it to another 2 weeks, let it relax, then bring it up.
I want us to just answer this question, yeah? So it has happened. You've actually, came to the point, the conclusion that, oh, my child has a crush.
Yeah.
And now you are panicking. As a parent, what do you do? Now, teacher SK, hapa ndio utakuwa unatusaidia kidogo. As a parent, I found out that my 2-year-old is not as innocent as I thought. But anyway, you said it's innocent.
Yeah, it's very innocent. I want to talk about parenting styles at this point. And when you talk about parenting styles, it's important to know that as your kids grow, your parenting styles have to change. Yeah, it's unfortunate that most of the time we carry one style almost to past teenage, and that is where now we collide with them. Because when your child is 0 to 3, you're supposed to be a scout, be like a scout. As scout, you're walking around with them, doing things. You're almost doing everything for them. It's called like you're piloting. You're piloting them. You're just hovering around them because they can mess up anytime. They can just mess up themselves, hurt themselves, and all that. So you're scouting. And then now at 7 to 9. 7 to 9 is too early. 4 to 6, you have to be like a model. Now, at that point, they're looking at you. Everything you're doing, they copy you. They look at things that are happening around. If you have a house girl in their house, you'll realize they're carrying the character of a house girl because they are copying. All they are doing is watching and copying, and copying, You'll find if they're playing with their toys, the same tone you use to speak to them is the same tone they will use on their toys. Imitating. If they're driving their cars, you just find, if you normally do stuff when you're driving around with them, and the way you talk to the drivers on the road, the same way they'll do it with their toys out there, because you're modeling them, so they're copying what you're doing. And then from 7 to 9, you actually become an instructor. You should become an instructor to them. At that point, that age between 7 and 9 is where kids pick up a lot of information. They store up information. So what you tell them at that time will stick with them almost throughout their years. If you tell them they are a good singer, they'll believe it throughout their life that they are good singers. So whatever they're told at that time, at 7 to 9 is actually also the age where maybe most kids have gone to grade 1, 2, 3. And you'll find most of the time, if a teacher will tell them they're stupid, they will hold on to it. Yeah, they'll hold on to it, and you'll realize even at older age, somebody will remember what they were told at grade 1.
Yes,
because at 7 to 9, that is the age you are becoming. Everybody around them is an instructor. And then there is a 10 to 12. You need now to be a friend. Now, unfortunately, most of the time they get to 10 to 12 and you want to continue being the scouts. They don't want to be telling them, do this. What are you? Kapale. They want you to be a friend. What does a friend do? They speak. Friends speak to each other, they have a conversation, they talk stupid things. They want you to play with them, they want you to jump around with them and all that. So they want you to be a friend at that time. And remember, this time is also when these crushes can come along. So if you're a friend, they will tell you.
Yes.
They'll tell you at that time. If you're a friend, you will notice things are not, the same. You'll notice because you are a friend to them. And then they come the age of 13 to 18. Here now you have to become a coach. You have to give direction. And most importantly, you have to believe in them.
Yes.
If you don't, because which kind of a coach will put someone in a team and they don't believe in them? Yeah, you have to believe in your players.
Yes.
So this time they need you to believe in them. And you have to be very intentional about that, because remember also this is the time they also expect you to give them direction, which they look like they're not hearing or they look like they're not taking, but they are actually taking.
And so they just act out, but they actually hear.
They actually hear. They actually listen to what you're telling them. That is why they will mess up and they're like, and I was told about this. Yeah. Because they actually heard you. So at that time, you have to be very intentional with your instructions, very intentional with your coaching styles with them, very intentional with your conversation, how you are handling them, how you believe that you can give them that gadget and the things you've told them not to do, they will not do, and you have to believe they have not done. And at the same time, you have, as a coach, you have to be very watchful. Yeah, you have to be very watchful. You don't leave anything at chances. 19 onwards, they want you to be a cheerleader. Oh, cheer them up. Tell them, oh, you can do it. You can make it. Oh, this is good. And remember also that 19 is when now they're actively dating. So at that time, rejection is a lot. So you have to be there. You just have to be there to cheer them on. I tell them, we are men, that's how you can always get another one, So now what? Okay, so remember, this thing is as real as any other relationship. So they have a crush, but we are saying it's not a romantic thing. So it is as real as it can be to anybody else. So at this point, don't make fun of it.
Okay.
Yeah, don't make fun of it. Don't tease them because they're so serious. It has happened. Yeah. Don't tease them. And then also help them realize they're just feelings that will fade off soon. So you're talking, you're becoming friends, tell them, yeah, it has happened. It is just, it will fade off. You will still get a crush to another one also.
No matter how serious they are with these crushes.
Yeah, no matter, but don't make fun like, no. Just, it happened. Wow, that's good. And help them know it's part of life and it's very important part of life. It is a very important part of life.
Yes.
And again, as we were saying earlier, this time you want them to just have that crush to somebody who is opposite. Otherwise you'll be so sick. So when they have a crush at this time, so be a friend, be a coach, be an instructor at that time. Okay, help them realize that it is cool and important. And remember at this point also you have to take them through the puberty preparation. This is a program we always do with parents. We help them to prepare their children towards puberty. When you prepare them, then they know what to expect when puberty now hits. Yeah, so puberty preparation, we advise parents to do them when children are between 7, 8, 9. Try to do a puberty preparation to your child.
Okay.
Even if you've not done it, even if they're 13, 14, you can still do it. It's a whole course. We normally train parents on how to, go about it because it's very important. And because many parents were never taken through that, so you don't know also how to take your child through it. So it's important for you to learn. And also advise them on how to help themselves if at all they are rejected, and show them, because even for you, at some point it happened. There's this boy or this girl you liked, and they're like, my type. And it happens. Remember, they're also getting those kind of things.
Yes.
There's this girl they're just dying for, and this girl is like, you just have a very bad voice.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Yes. So you have to help them to be able to overcome that. And that is what you do during puberty preparation. Help them know that not everybody will like you and not everybody will hate you. And it is part of life. Okay. So, and also at this time, you can't be harsh.
So when they're having these crushes, you have to be
very calm. And when they come to tell you, don't act surprised. Why are you acting surprised anyway? Because you were there at some point.
Is this that the situation is different now?
Yeah,
I'm the parent?
Yeah. So don't act surprised. Don't act surprised. Don't be so harsh on them. Don't shout at them, because if you do, you will block them forever. Yeah, they'll be like, this guy doesn't know how to handle me. They don't know how to handle this stuff. They don't understand, you see. And so if you don't know how to handle it, what the signal you're passing to them is that there are people who are better. Who are these? Their peers.
Oh, okay.
And the media. And actually, coming to media, we were talking about earlier. We're talking about these crashes can actually happen on musicians and celebrities.
Oh, yeah, like a puzzle Swani.
Oh, kwanza, Swani. Sometimes, you know those videos that Swani does, and then these girls, they're just from high school. They've come for break, and then they say, hey, this buying. So Aswani already have some GFs. They call them nowadays GFs outside there, or some or Sharon here has some boyfriends already. They're dying for, and these guys are just in primary. They're even grade 8. So they're calling themselves
So they also have, as a parent, you can also have a child having a crush on a celebrity or a celebrity.
Yeah, and how to note this? You'll realize either they want to keep up with the show, they just want to watch this singer. They know all their songs for some reasons. They know their background. You're even like, what?
And they talk about this person every day, every time.
Yeah. And you if parents who can remember maybe the days of so they have to be the days of those musicians, celebrities we used to have, even them, they have this kind of crushes. So you have to also talk to them about reality and fantasy, because they're fantasizing a lot at this point. Okay. So advise them on how to help themselves in terms of, sometimes this feeling can be too much. Help them to know that, you can run to the bathroom and shower. You can go and take a walk. You can play a game that you love, so that at least you get back to your real self at this point in time. But don't be harsh. Accept it, support them, and let them know that, it is part of life, and it will come and go.
Wow, that is beautiful. So basically, just be there for your child.
Be there for them.
Kiboko is not the only way.
And it's not even an option nowadays.
It's not an option. For these children of today, it's not an option.
It's not an option.
Do you have any last word? Arakaraka tu tukimalizanga?
Yeah. And I want to say that it is very important for we as parents to help our children navigate through phases of life. It is very important to also prepare them early for those phases of life. And when it comes to sexuality parenting, we say that sexuality parenting, you have to talk and you have to model. And as you talk, you have to give facts and you have to have values. And then you have to give them the truth, which is the word of God. At the end of the day. So it's not time for you to tell them that a child come from the moon or from the trees.
Squeeze it away.
It is time for you to give facts. It is time for you to model values, and it is time for you to tell the truth, which for us, we base it on the word of God.
Yes. Yeah. Asante sana. Thank you so much. God bless you.
96.9 FM, Pearl Radio.